Hey everyone, let's talk today about how you can deal with uncertainty because clearly we're in extremely uncertain times right now. We don't even know when we're going to be able to leave the house again, see our friends, travel, let alone know what's going to happen with our jobs and with our future in terms of our career. I think it's a record 22 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits last month, which is just crazy. So many people are losing their jobs, and even people who have their jobs, a lot of them they've been forced to take a pay cut and they just have no choice in the matter. And then others who maybe that hasn't happened yet are worried about what will happen to their jobs in the future. Or if this wasn't the job they wanted and they were working on a career change, that just feels like it's impossible. So just in case you don't know me, I'm Dahlia. I help professionals to get very highly paid work that they also love, even if they're transitioning into a new industry. So when it comes to certainty, a lot of human beings place a very high value on certainty because it's part of our comfort zone, it's part of our security. We like to be certain that things are going to go a certain way. And obviously some people value certainty more than others. That's why you see some people taking more risks than others. Some people get bored more easily, whereas other people love being bored. Or maybe if they don't love being bored, they at least like the certainty of knowing that tomorrow is going to be like today and the day after that will be the same, this kind of thing. And obviously nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody can provide that certainty of anything right now. And so it's really throwing a lot of people's mindset into the bin. You know, it's been really tough for a lot of people to carry on and to stay positive. And a lot of that, I think, is because of that lack of certainty and just not knowing what it is that's going to happen. Like, we can't think into the future and imagine and visualize because it just seems like there are too many factors so beyond our control. So what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just stay under the covers or just, just wait for it all to be over? Well, a lot of people are actually doing that. And so, of course, that's one thing you can do, and definitely self-care. We talked about this. Self-care is important, and nurturing yourself and all that kind of stuff, taking care of yourself, try to get enough sleep, etc., etc. Everyone gives that kind of advice. But I think there's another thing that is really important to think about, and that is that, there's surviving, and we're all gonna survive, right? Few of us are actually at risk of losing our lives over this or something like that. But how can we not only survive, but find a way to thrive, find a way to come out of this with actually more job security than even what we have right now? Because in times like this, it really shows the holes in a lot of people's career strategies. So if you don't have a very strong network to begin with, then when you get laid off, it's really tough to find a new job because you didn't have that network built ahead of time. And so prevention is always better than cure. You want to preferably have your career system set up ahead of time, because not only will you get better jobs with that strong network, that strong branding, not only will you earn more money, not only will you get more projects that you enjoy versus just the ones that you can get that are given to you, but when these kinds of things happen, you're going to have more options on the table. And job security doesn't come from one of those coveted permanent for life contracts, which, by the way, just because you have a permanent contract doesn't mean it can't get canceled when things like this happen, or even things that are not as dramatic, right? These long-term contracts get canceled all the time. So real job security comes from your network and your branding and your capacity to sell yourself on the job market and to position yourself as a highly paid specialist. That's why it's so important to invest in your career, in your branding, in the kind of positioning that you have on the job market, as opposed to just hoping for one of these quote-unquote stable contracts. And then people also get trapped into those contracts because they think, oh, I might not like this job, but at least it's stable, and if I leave this, I'm leaving my job security. But that is not job security. Job security comes from yourself, not from your employer. So in times of uncertainty, one thing that I see happen is I see leaders step up. So this is a time where, number one, like I said before, it's going to point out the holes in your strategy, which is great, right? If you're noticing right now that, okay, there are holes in my strategy, I don't have the network I need to have, I'm not positioned as I should be positioned, then great. At least you can see those holes and then you can work on fixing them. But the other thing is there's huge opportunity at these times. And I know it's tough, but this is where you see real leaders emerge, because a lot of people are in fear, a lot of people can't handle the uncertainty, and that's where the leaders come out and they go, look, I know everyone is afraid and my life is in the same situation as all of you, but this is what we need to do. And they map out the future, they map out the steps, and people look up to those people. I have an example of this actually. I was in the field in a conflict zone and there was shooting going on, there was, there were people dying, all this kind of thing. And I remember I had one really, really inspirational colleague who she just stepped up. She's in the same situation as all of us, right? It wasn't any easier for her, but she stepped up. She said the right thing. She said, we need to band together. We need to stay strong. We still need to get our work done. We still have a mission here. We still need to do it. And she just brought everyone together. And the way she did that was, one, through that, I don't want to say lack of fear. She was facing the same stuff as all of us. Her life was just in danger as all of us. But it's more like that decision to stand up in the face of fear and do your work anyway. And so it doesn't mean not taking care of yourself. It doesn't mean like, oh, I'm just gonna distract myself with work and you're still afraid, but you're trying to distract and cope. It's not like that. It's just that productive thinking of, okay, this is the situation we're in. We can't control that. What can we control? Well, we still have a job to do. We can still do this. We can still do that. And really being that force of focusing on what you can control and focusing on where you want to go, not what you don't want. And I think in these times, a lot of people get fixated on, it shouldn't be this way. It's not fair that I can't leave my house. I liked my old life and it's not right. Like, I've lost my job and that's, what am I going to do now? It shouldn't be. And when you get into the shouldn'ts, it's a downward spiral because you are not in control. But if you focus on the things you can control, like, okay, I've lost my job, or okay, I've taken a pay cut. Well, what can I do to enter a different industry where they're ready to pay me what I used to be paid, if not more? What can I do to start that side project that's going to be able to supplement my income and increase my salary and potentially even turn into my full-time job in the future, right? It's this kind of thinking. What can I control? Because it's not a fair situation for anyone. It's not easy for anyone. And the people who are going to come out on top are the ones who really, really focus on their sphere of control, on what they can actually do about it. So that is my message. I see really inspirational people coming out of the cracks during these times. And I don't see any reason why you guys can't be that inspiration, everyone in their own way. When you start taking charge of what you can control, taking charge of your own life, getting out of complaining mode or just being down mode and just focusing one step at a time on what can you do, how can you empower yourself to get the positions that are still out there for the people who are ready to rise up and get them and position themselves towards them. Some of my clients have had their best months this month in terms of job offers and projects and exciting stuff happening because they're focused on their positioning and their branding and what they can do for the job market, as opposed to feeling like a victim to circumstance. So that is what I wanted to chat with you guys about. I think all of you are capable of being that inspiration. And what could be your method of being the inspiration to others? What could be your method of staying empowered and focusing on the things that you can control? Let me know below one thing that is currently in your control that you can totally do today. Let me know below, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video. And please, if you know someone who's struggling and who's lost their job or who's just feeling really down, please share this video with them, because if all of us can band together, take control, be inspiring to others, I think you can really create that ripple effect with your friends, with your colleagues, with your community, and all of us can continue to be productive and actually make use of this time, still in a way that you're self-nurturing, still in a way that you're taking care of yourselves, but also in a way that you are giving back and that you're you're really, really making an impact on society, and of course, getting better outcomes in your own careers. So I'll talk to you guys soon.